Bernie, Bin Laden was killed this week. The budget numbers came out today, or the unemployment numbers came out today.
There's a lot to talk about. Before I get into it, I did want to thank our friends in California. I was, for the first time, the California Democratic Party invited somebody who was not a Democrat, an independent, to come out there at their convention, and I gave one of their keynote addresses, and people were just extremely friendly. And Tom, what I want to mention to you is I cannot tell you the number of people who came up to me in Sacramento and told me they listened to the Thom Hartmann show. So congratulations to you.
That's great.
For getting a progressive vision out there,
Thank
not only in California but all over the country. But I do want to thank my friends in California for their great hospitality. This has been a momentous week. It's a very difficult week in terms of budget stuff. So let me just whiz through a number of issues. First of all, of course, everybody knows that Osama bin Laden is dead. The real and in some ways the symbolic leader of international terrorism is no more, and I think that's a good thing for this planet. I want to congratulate the intelligence agencies for pulling off what was a very difficult mission, and of course the military folks who did what they had to do. I should also say, though, that anyone who thinks that with the death of bin Laden, international terrorism is gone forever would be sorely mistaken. We have to remain vigilant and so forth. The other point that I want to make, because I've been asked by the media a lot about this, what does this mean in terms of Afghanistan, our presence in Afghanistan? And I would just very briefly say this. My views on Afghanistan did not change with the death of bin Laden. The reality is we have been there now for 10 years at great expense, both in terms of human life and dollars. We are spending billions and billions of dollars there. Nobody wants to see the Taliban come back to power. They are a totally reactionary group of people. And nobody wants to see international terrorism once again gain a foothold in Afghanistan. Having said that, it is my view that we have got to start the process of bringing our troops home as quickly as we possibly can. After 10 years, what has got to happen is the Afghan government and the Afghan military and the Afghan police force have got to defend themselves against the Taliban. We need to support them, but I do believe that we've got to continue the effort and accelerate the effort of bringing our troops home. It is a very complicated issue. I was there a couple of months ago, but I think 10 years is quite enough. Let me just talk about another issue, which is not getting all that much attention lately because of the bin Laden situation, but it is obviously of enormous consequence to this country, and that is how we deal with the budget, national budget, because what a budget is about really are the priorities of our nation, where we spend money, where we raise money, and so forth. My Republican colleagues in the House have put together the most reactionary budget in the modern history of the United States of America. It would cause devastating problems for tens and tens of millions of working families. What we're looking at, Tom, right now is this country is in the midst of an horrendous recession. Poverty is increasing. 50 million people have no health insurance. Some people have been unemployed for very long periods of time. And what the Republicans have decided in the House is that they think that at a time when the richest people are doing phenomenally well, that what a budget should be about is providing $1 trillion in tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires, and then make devastating cuts in health care, education, environmental protection, and the needs of some of the most vulnerable people in this country. So I think both from a moral perspective and an economic perspective, we have got to do everything that we possibly can to make sure that this budget is not balanced on the backs of the weak and the vulnerable and the elderly and the children and the sick and the poor. We should never forget also that when we talk about the budget and we talk about the very serious deficit problem that we have right now, you cannot forget, although the media, corporate media often does, how we got to where we are right now. You know, in that regard, you're talking to one of the major deficit hawks in the Congress, because I and others voted against the war in Iraq, which will end up costing trillions of dollars unpaid for, voted against the bailout of Wall Street, voted against huge tax breaks for the wealthiest people in this country, voted against a insurance company-written Medicare Part D prescription drug program, which ends up being much more expensive than it had to be. So what we cannot allow to happen is that on one hand, these same guys who voted for the war unpaid for, voted for tax breaks for the rich, to suddenly conclude, oh, gee, we have a deficit problem right now. We got to slash Medicaid. We have to voucherize Medicare. We have to cut back on education and programs that working people need. That's just absolutely unacceptable. So I'm a member of the Budget Committee, and I can tell you that, we're into some very serious debate about where we want to go. I just wanted to bore people, if I can, with just some ideas that people are not hearing about how you can responsibly solve the deficit issue, which I think is an important issue without negatively impacting the middle class or working families of this country. For a start, the context has got to be that the people on top are doing phenomenally well, while the people down below, in the middle class and working families, lower income people, are doing very bad. So what we have got to be talking about is moving toward a progressive tax system, which asks the wealthiest people in this country to start paying their fair share of taxes. The statistics are quite clear that the real tax rate for the wealthiest people in this country has gone down significantly in recent years. It's now the lowest that it's been for many, many, many years. The statistics and the information is very clear that we have major corporations in this country, and we've just released a list of 10 of them a couple of weeks ago, who are making billions and billions of dollars in profits. They're not paying a nickel in taxes, in some cases getting rebates from the IRS. The record is very clear that we're losing about $100 billion every single year from corporations and wealthy people who are placing their money in tax havens in the Cayman Islands and in Bermuda. There's a chart that Ken Conrad, who's the chairman of the Budget Committee, often shows. It's a building, I think it's a 4-story building, kind of a normal-looking building in the Cayman Islands. Do you know how many corporations consider that building their home address, Tom?
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
18,000. I mean, it is like beyond laughable.
Yeah.
You got one building, 18,000 corporations consider it their home address in order to avoid paying taxes in the United States of America. So as a nation, we have a choice to make. Do we go after that absurdity, that fraudulent activity in many ways, just the complete and clear effort to avoid taxes, or do you cut Medicaid, privatize or voucherize Medicare, cut back on education? Those are the choices that the American people have got to be engaged in the coming months.
Right, and engaged in is the key. We need to be feeding back to our members of Congress.